Happy New Year. Haven't seen you since
Same
the
to
New
you.
Year. Haven't talked to you. So
Yes.
um, we'll jump right into it.
Let's
It's
do it.
my name is Johnell. This is my guy, Matt Price, Cash Walk-In, and this is Heat Check powered by Designated Report. Um, we talk basketball, but before we get into that, I just want to give a quick T's and P's. DeMar Hamlin, we saw him go down on Monday Night Football, Buffalo Bills. Um, Still in critical condition, but it sounds like things are improving. But just real quick thoughts and prayers. Hopefully he gets better, gets out of there, and returns to a normal life first and foremost.
Exactly. Forget football. Just get my man on his 2 feet. I hope he can walk out of there at
Yeah,
one
me
point.
too.
Well, I think when you leave the hospital, no matter what, they bring you out in the wheelchair.
I don't know if that's true, but it makes sense.
So when we left after Carissa had the baby, they offered it. She didn't accept it. She's like, no, I don't want to do it. But they were like, yeah, we have to offer everybody. But I hope that he can walk out of there.
Me too. Me too.
That's I'm telling you, from the moment that it happened, that's all I want. Is just I want that report that says, he's in stable condition and making a full and expected to make a full
Yeah.
recovery. Those are the words I need to see, man. For real.
and it and it doesn't matter about football. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's somehow miraculously able to come back and play football, great. But to be able to walk out of the hospital, be able to be with his family and live a normal life after this, I mean, ultimately that's a goal. So,
Period. Period. Take that, Skip Bayless.
oh my gosh, I don't even want to talk about that, man.
Don't even get into it, but he'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, just a quick thoughts and prayers to Mar Hamlin. Get better soon. We're all rooting for you.
Yes.
Um, and then we'll jump right into the NBA. We got a bunch to get to, but very briefly. I don't want to spend a lot of
Yes.
time on this.
Gotcha.
Um, Zion Williamson.
Mm.
We just got word again that he's going to be sidelined for at least a couple of weeks. He has a hamstring strain.
Yes.
Um, the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because we had a few people reach out to us and they were calling Zion. I don't know if they were calling him a bust, but they said that he is trending in that direction of being a bust. I don't know if I completely agree with that, but I wanted to get your thoughts on whether or not we think Zion's a bust. Actually, no, I don't think Zion's a bust, but do we think he's like on the verge of becoming a bust if he can't stay on the court?
So I'm not going to call him a bust for any reason, and definitely not for injury purposes, not being able to stay in the court. So I just want to run the numbers really quick. 24 games is his fourth season. 24 games his first year in a COVID shortened season. Season ended in March.
Yep.
Then he 61 games the following season of another COVID shortened season. He
Yep.
played 61 of 72 games, and then missed all of last season. And he's played 29 of the team's 37 games this year. So tonight will be his ninth game that he's missing, which is not that bad for
Sure.
this season. Um, in that time, in that time, when his first season, 22 points a game. Second season, 27 points per game. So far this year, 26 points per game. He's extremely productive every time he's on the floor.
I agree.
They sat him out for a lot of these times when he said he wanted to play. I'm not going to call a guy that productive a bust. They'll
Sure.
work out. You could see that the team, the organization, the medical staff there, they're committed to getting him healthy enough to
Absolutely.
stay on the court. And I think that's where a lot of these missed games come in. It's more precaution. This is a hamstring thing. He's a big man. They're like 4 weeks, but it's really like two. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to take every precaution, and I think they hold him back and kind of protect him from himself. He's too
Yeah.
productive to call a bust.
So I do agree with you to an extent. I don't think he's a bust. Um, I think the term bust, I mean, it is negative. I was going to say it has a negative connotation. It is negative, but I truly think it comes from a place of frustration when it comes to the fans. Even if you're not a
Mm.
Pelicans fan, like he came into the league from high school, college with just this enormous amount of expectations for what and who he's going to be in the NBA. And the fact that while he's on the court, when he's on the court, he's incredible. The fact that he's not always, we can't count on him being on the court every night is frustrating. And I think a big part of it is, I'm not body shaming or anything like that, but if Zion had the same body type as LeBron and continued to get hurt, I think people would just say, wow, like he's really unlucky. For whatever reason, his body just isn't jiving with him. He can't stay on the court. The fact that the critique on him since high school has just been that he's this big body and he's extremely explosive. He gets off the ground, he's dunking, he's doing all these things. It's just not sustainable. So it almost feels as though Zion is stealing him from us. Like because he's unable to stay on the court. Yeah, because he's unable to stay on the court, we're not able to see how great he is. And we've seen flashes of it, and it's like it's frustrating. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Now I hear exactly what you're saying because that's what it is. Like from a fan perspective, and I'm sure these people, the fans that are saying this, are outside of New Orleans. It may be a few around there, but it's just people who want to see him on the court. And then when he's not, they're just like, oh, this guy never plays. It just makes it seem like. Plus that market, the Pelicans are not on TV every night. So you're seeing Zion play how many times, even a whole season, if you don't have League Pass or you're not in a Pelicans market. So they've seen him play on national TV once or twice, I think, this season, but he's one of the biggest names in the league. That's why I can't call him a bust. They got to keep him healthy. They got to keep him healthy.
That's ultimately what it boils down to.
It's an easy target, what you're saying, to blame it on his body type and everything like that. I don't buy that. I think it's stylistic. I think it's the way he plays, the way he plays on his body. Could be the combination of the two. But I think the way he plays for anybody, he's going a million miles per hour all the time. And so,
but that's how he's always played. He's always played that way. So
he has to do that to be effective.
My fear, and it's been my fear since high school. I feel like I've been very consistent in all this. Is as great as Zion is when he's on the court, if he is, I almost feel as though he's going to fall into almost like a Blake Griffin role or like a Vince Carter role where crazy athleticism, they really leaned into their athleticism, and Vince Carter was able to carve out a very good like secondary career because he became a great shooter. Blake Griffin, not so much. I mean, he's a decent role player, but I don't think he's had the same success that Vince Carter did. I've never seen Zion. Like, Zion's not a great shooter. So if he's not able to play the way that you're talking about, being explosive, throwing his body around, doing those things, I don't know how he then transitions to being a great shooter and being productive on the floor in other ways if he can't be that dominant person in the paint and dunking and jumping over people.
The quick first step, the quick leaping ability. If he loses that, then what is he as a player? I hear that. But, he's a freak of nature. It's something that we've never seen before. A man that big that can move the way he moves. So I'm not going to say that is going to go away anytime soon. He's also only 22 years old.
Which is nuts. Yeah.
It's nuts. So I'm not going to say that that's going away anytime soon. And at which point, if it does, then we can start having a bus conversation. But until he loses that quick first step, they went to him like 8 straight possessions against the best shot blocker in the league, who I know you hate. But Rudy Gobert will tell you, oh, no, he's not a bust. He's not a bust. He put 14 straight on him.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
We'll see. Hopefully it's closer to the 2 weeks than the 4 weeks, and we could get Zion back on the court healthy and, just truly see his full potential and what we want to see from him as, in a perfect world, and an all-time great basketball player in this league.
I think if he stays healthy, man, like I said, it's just something we've never seen. He is, we've seen big, strong guys. He's more Barkley than LeBron, but he's like Barkley with real hops. Like, Barkley can jump in his early career, but this dude, he's something
Zion's
else. Different,
man. Yeah, he's an alien, bro. He's an alien.
Yeah, for real.
Speaking of aliens, John Morant is in the news.
Boy.
It's not because of his Ja ones, his signature shoes. It's not because the Grizzlies are playing well. John Morant is getting sued for allegedly punching a minor, playing, they were playing basketball or whatever. Jaws come out. He said it was in self-defense. So he's obviously not denying that he punched this kid.
He admitted it, yeah.
But he's saying that, something happened where he had to defend himself. My question to you is, I'm sure, like, if Ja Morant showed up to the local high school here, people would go crazy. Like, if he was like, yeah, I'm here for 30 minutes, like, let's get some shots up, let's run half court or something, it would be crazy.
Yeah. The kids would love it.
Yeah. But should players stop doing it if there's a potential of something like this happening?
I don't think so. You need those competitive runs in the offseason. We've all heard the stories of those UCLA runs.
Yep.
I know, I'm sure they're a little more controlled on a college campus with, they got guys in there that, are all NBA players or at least college players. So I think like the Drew leagues and the Seattle leagues and that Miami Pro-Am and the New York Pro-Ams, keep doing those. Like, it's a good opportunity to play against guys who are pros from other, in other countries. They're not NBA pros, but these Pro-Ams, these guys, they're amateurs in America, but they're pros in overseas. They're pros in Australia. They're pros in Italy and France. So these are good quality runs. Those guys are going to play you as hard as they can, so you're going to get a good look. I think they should keep doing it. Now, is it going to get scrappy? Yeah, because these guys are playing against an NBA player. They're trying to get noticed. Yeah. So I think the responsibility rests on the NBA player to keep your cool. Like, bro, you're just trying to get a sweat, get a good run. Don't be in here. I get the competitive juices flowing and you're fired up and you're playing, but don't get dragged into all that stuff with guys who aren't literally under your level.
So my thing, and I didn't hear anything about this, and maybe you have. I know it was in Tennessee. Do we know where he was playing or with who or anything like that?
I don't. So, I only heard about this just through trending topics.
Yeah. So my thing is, the fact that it's a minor means the kid probably isn't in college, probably high school or something like that. So, with a situation like the Pro-Ams that you're talking about and, the UCLA runs and things, like I would like to think that a college kid, it's going to get competitive, but he's not going to go over the top. He's not going to go overboard saying anything or doing anything disrespectful, especially to a professional athlete. Right. But I'm more like, the Drew League was in like a high school gym. We used to have Rucker Park where, you got people like on top of you on the court with KD and Kobe playing in Rucker Park and things like that. I don't know. Like I love the intimacy of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Of those
That's
events.
why I love it too.
And I think, you had LeBron who played in 2011 and 11 years later, he comes back and plays in the Drew League. And I can't remember who said it, but somebody was like, this is an opportunity for some kids to see LeBron play when they'll never be able to get to Los Angeles to see him play. They won't have the money to be able to go to a game, but to be able to go to this tiny gym, like I said, intimate setting and watch him go to work is something special, in my opinion. So I want players to continue to do things like this. I want them to show up to the local Y, to the LA Fitness and just get a run in. But there's also a lot of, and again, like the younger crowd that are chasing clout. Like they want to see just how far they can push an athlete before they snap or they say something. We see it in the NBA now where you have players or you have fans like yelling
just
stuff,
antagonizing people.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it continues. I'm hoping the thing with Ja Morant gets settled and whatever happens with that is taken care of.
But a pair of John ones and go ahead and keep it pushing, man. Sign a pair of John ones and settle that.
Keep it moving, man. And again, like it'd be different if it was the 11th player on the Pacers that got into a fight. I mean, but this is this is like the face of your league, one of the faces of your league, punching a minor again in self-defense, but allegedly.
It's a good thing that they didn't name the rookie of the year to Ja Morant
Exactly.
There it is. It came up.
See,
It came
thank
up.
you, thank you. But yeah, man,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm hoping that they do continue to play, but again, you're always going to get the one or two people that want to see how far they can push things to get
Yeah,
a reaction.
100%. That's
Um,
wild, though. I
um,
just thought about that. Man, what did they name that trophy after?
so we had more big news in the scoring world in the
Oh
NBA.
my God.
And we saw Donovan Mitchell go for 71 the other night against the
Mm-hmm.
Bulls, becoming the 12th player all time to score 70 or more points. Um, just last week, we were talking about Luka. Luka went for
Yep.
60 and 20 and 10. But also, we had Giannis go for 55 last night.
Yep.
We had Clay go for 54 the other night in a double
Just the other
overtime
night.
win. We also saw
And
the
Zion had 40 something, right? Didn't Zion have like 44
did he
or
really?
something
I
like
didn't
that?
see it.
In that game against Minnesota, he had like 44 and like 14 in the fourth
Man,
quarter. And it was all, you're like, that was on the same night as Clay and all them. Yeah, that was.
got you. So right now, is it just and then last night we saw OKC.
Oklahoma City. Oh my
They put
God.
up 150 on Boston, and that was without
No
SGA.
SGA. They're 3-1 this year without SGA. That's
which
weird,
is
but
which is really weird.
interesting. You want any more? You want any more picks, Sam? Because the Knicks got some.
So is this just did we just hit a hot streak and everybody's just pouring in buckets, or is this a sign of what the defense in the NBA is right now?
I don't want to blame it all on defense. I want to blame it on our credit the talent of the players offensively.
Yep.
They've improved offensively and the style of play today. So
Okay.
obviously we got rule changes. The take foul being eliminated. That's
Yep.
a big thing. Now you got these guys that are so crafty with the way that they draw fouls, the swipe throughs, the leaning into. Trae Young is one of the best I've ever seen at drawing fouls, yo. Like he creates contact on every
Yes.
possession. The other night I was watching the overtime, fourth quarter overtime of Golden State versus Atlanta. Atlanta was out there when Clay had the 54.
Yep.
Yo, every single possession, he was just taking it and they were run high pick and roll. Trae gets a favorable switch and then he just leads into dude and then goes up at the right time. It's just he's so good at it. And a lot of these guys, Jalen Brunson's another one who's really good at drawing fouls. And
Yep.
as you know, get fouls, score points when the clock's not running. So the points are going up. You see more guys averaging in the 30s than we have in a long time. I think it's just the offense has gotten better. The defense, the league has made it tougher to play defense, easier to play
Absolutely.
offense. So I don't think the defense is worse. I think just the offense is getting much better. Dudes are shooting one-legged fadeaways,
Oh my
side shot,
gosh.
like
Yes.
they're doing scoops, revert, like everything. Guys can score in so many different ways. Donovan Mitchell, I'm telling you, I tweeted about this. I said, if you fancy yourself a basketball fan, watch this highlight. Like the shots he was making, they
Yeah.
drug tested him yesterday.
Yes.
Like
I was gonna get into that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, like they were like, nah, he did something. He on that Jose Canseco. I was like, so like I said, I want to credit the offense, the skill of these players, and the style of the game today for this explosion in points right now that's happening. And I think we're going to see even more. It's unique though too, because we don't recall here like, oh, Kobe had 81 and T Mac had 56 and AI had 70
Yeah.
and all in the same week. Like you didn't hear about that. You didn't hear about Jordan had 55. And then I don't even who else was back there was popping. Barkley had this and Drexler had that. You didn't
Yeah.
hear about that. It's like, yeah, you would get these performances throughout a season. One guy has 70, a couple months later, another guy has 40. Now, on the same night, you're getting multiple guys score high 30s, 40s,
Yep.
50s. It's crazy, man. Giannis, oh my goodness.
Yo,
It's
I
just
love Giannis, man.
it's we are getting it. Somebody made the point. Another writer made the point about we're LeBroning him. Like people aren't appreciating it enough. I've been trying to make a big deal out of it on there. I'm like, is anybody paying attention? What's happening? He's
Yep.
scoring 50 nightly. He's just it's a routine 50 and 12.
Yeah,
Like,
and
what
it's
is,
because who was it? Was it James Harden that says all he does is dribble and dunk or something like that?
yeah.
You remember they
That's
had
all
their
he
little
that's all
squabble,
he was doing. Yeah, that's all he was doing at that point. But somehow, even though he's been putting up these numbers,
bro. He's
somehow this
gotten
man
so
has
much better.
improved his game.
Yes,
He's got so much more skill. He's hitting outside jumpers, mid-range
yes,
jumpers. He's
yes,
euroing through everything, swiping through, getting
yes,
to the line, making his free throws,
yes,
and dominating you and dunking on you.
yes.
The way he gets to the rim is the most impressive thing about his game. He gets to the rim in so many ways in so few steps.
Yeah,
It's unreal. It's
yeah.
unreal.
And
Him and
he's
Luca, those are, and Joel Embiid's making an argument, but I don't know. Luca, Giannis, these are your MVPs. Take one. I don't know who, but it's gonna be one of them.
I mean, you had Luca by a landslide last week, and
I
now
still do,
Giannis
but Giannis is
he's
coming, yo.
crept in.
He's coming. He's creeping up. He keeps doing this. I don't know, man. Luca, he might need another 60 piece.
Man, yeah, not just across the board. I mean, I agree with you. We're seeing offense at a level that we've never seen it before. And you're absolutely right. I mean, people want to see points. It's the same in the NFL. Like we don't want to see in the NFL, you don't want to see a 13-10 game. In the NBA, you don't want to see a 98 83 game. Like we want to see the points, we want to see the threes, the dunks, the whole nine. But I think just the flurry of 50 and 60 point games that we saw in the last week, it's like what's happening right now?
Yeah, crazy, crazy. And I don't know if they sustain this, but like you see that there's look how many people are capable of putting up these numbers. These are
Yeah.
it's not like the same guys every time.
Yep.
These are there's a lot of people scoring in high 30s right now, nightly. Even Julius Randle's putting up 35 and like almost
Yeah.
like 40 pieces. Like you know what I mean? Like everybody's balling right now.
Yeah.
It's special to watch. Offensively, it's really special to watch.
And I forgot to mention Luca going for 51 after Pop said he was going to hold him under 50.
That was crazy too. That was another one. Like, man, did he do that spitefully? Like, it
Probably,
was like just
honestly.
51. Yeah,
Yeah,
like all right, let me stand and get one more.
man. Yeah, I'm honestly I'm definitely one of those people. I watch basketball throughout the season, obviously, but I watch much more come Christmas and the New Year. And
Right.
It's been so entertaining, man. Like just all the game, not all the games, but a lot of the games are just very competitive. If they're not competitive, there's storylines, there's something to latch onto.
Mm-hmm.
It's been really good basketball over the
This
last.
has been like I said. I'm telling you. What did I say at the end of last season? I was like, "Yo, next year is going to be one of the most competitive years in
You
the
did say
history of
that.
the NBA because everybody's got like at least one guy, and
Yep.
you see things like last night where Oklahoma City, a French playing team, destroys one of the best teams in the league, one of the best defenses in the league. They put 150 on them without their best player.
Yep.
So I mean, the parity in the league right now is at an all time high. Get a league pass, man. It's fun.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned parity in the league. Anybody can win on any given night, right? But
Right.
do we still think there are clear front runners in both the East and the West? Like, is there a top two teams in the West, a top two teams in the East that if you had to put your money down now, you would say will be in the NBA Finals?
See, I want to say New Orleans very bad in the West because I love their roster, but it's keeping them all on the floor. We haven't seen Brandon Ingram for a while.
Yep.
Zion's sitting right now, so we got to see. But out west, that's my team that I really really like to get to a conference final because I just love their roster. I love the way they play. New Orleans, Memphis. I said it last week. They still got things to figure out, and offensively, I think it's going to end up being a struggle for them because of the way that they play.
Yep.
And their shooting is really inconsistent. So it's all dependent on Ja. we've seen this story before with Allen Iverson with little guys when you run everything through them and
Yep.
they're very high usage. It's going to beat them down. So they need to go now. Like their window is right now while he's playing at this level. So Memphis and New Orleans are my two out of the West. Like, but I wouldn't even call them clear favorites. Like New Orleans is the clear favorite for me if they're healthy. And
Okay.
in the East, it's Milwaukee.
Okay. All
It's
right.
Milwaukee because
So
when they get look how good they are, and they haven't been healthy. And
correct. They
it's
just
just
got Drew
even
Holiday
even
back.
yeah, even Giannis. Middleton's been in and out of the lineup. Giannis
Yep.
has missed some games this year. So but when they're healthy and if they can when they hit a stride, I just don't see even Boston is much better than them. The only team that will be able to compete with them because they have the similar type build in their roster and the offensive guns to shoot with them is Brooklyn.
So basically what I'm getting from that is you said that the parity is at an all-time high, but then you just rattled off 5 teams or 2 teams in the West, 3 teams in the East that you think can legitimately be in the finals. And I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, in the East, it's kind of top heavy with Boston, Milwaukee,
Yeah,
and Brooklyn. Like, but in the West, I mean, you said New Orleans and who? Memphis,
New Orleans and Memphis. Yeah,
and they're 2 and 3. They're not, neither one of them's a 1 seed. But
yeah.
I mean, you have Phoenix, who hasn't played well, but they're right in the mix. We have the Kings that we talked about a few weeks ago playing
They're
great
here.
ball. We saw
They're here.
they are here. We've got the Mavericks, who we didn't know if they would be able to sustain, and they're sitting in the 4 seed right now.
They're in a great.
I,
They're on a very good win streak, second longest win streak in the league right now to Brooklyn.
so I tend to agree with you that there is a lot of parity in the league, as opposed to a few years ago where we knew it was going to be Cleveland in the
In
finals or
Golden State.
Golden State.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like now it's like, yeah, we have some favorites, or we have some teams that we think could really make a push at this thing, but I mean, there's also 2 or 3 other teams in each conference that could do the same thing.
but with parity, with parity in this sense, I'm talking about everybody can beat everybody. Like
Oh, for
even
sure.
like like the Orlando Magic have 13 wins, but I truly think on any given night they can beat any team in the league if
I
they
agree
put
with that.
together the right game. Like I mean, this is pro basketball. Same with Detroit. Same with Charlotte. All these guys. Houston gives you fits. San Antonio just beat the Knicks the other night.
Yep.
It's anybody. Excuse me, can beat anybody,
I
and that's what
I
I mean. Everybody's got a go-to guy on their team,
yep.
and whether he's a younger go-to guy or a veteran go-to guy. Everybody has at least one go-to guy on their team. I don't see one team in this league that's playing without a go-to guy. Like Utah might not have a superstar, but Laurie Marketing is their go-to guy.
He's real, man. He's
Oh
really
yeah,
real.
absolute all-star. I put him in my all-star starter for my votes. I
We
don't
gotta
even know.
we
We'll get into that. Yeah, we'll get into that at some point.
yeah, we gotta get into that.
Because
Um
when we start going over forwards out west, it gets real sticky.
yeah, sticky's the
You're
right
like, wait,
word.
you're like, who you taking him out? Who you taking out for? And I'm like, I gotta show you.
Maybe we could do like an all-star draft, kind of like the way that they draft the teams, and
Yeah, yeah.
see who can come up with the better team. Let's think
Okay.
about that a little bit, because
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk over that. We'll definitely talk over that.
yeah. So we had one more. I saved this for the end, kind of because I'm tired of talking about it, but it came up this week. It came up this week, so I wanted to touch base on it and get your
We're like
thoughts.
3 seasons in on talking about this topic, by the
Yeah, yeah.
way. Every
So
year it gets dropped. Somebody says something about it.
and well, yeah. So Evan Turner and Andre Iguodala, they've got a podcast, and I only saw the clip. I didn't see the whole episode, so I apologize, or the whole podcast. But basically, there's a clip of Evan Turner telling Andre Iguodala that KD going to Golden State was unfair. And he just goes on and on, like, you already had Draymond, you already had Iggy, you already had Steph and Clay, and then you add KD. Like it just was unfair to the league. Like we knew you guys were going to win, yada yada yada. So KD, love KD. If you don't follow KD on Twitter, I don't know what you're doing. But
Great follow.
he's on Twitter. He responded to the video. He's
Very
responding
engaging.
to fans. Yeah. And the response that stuck out to me was he's like, you guys call me sensitive, but you're still complaining about something that happened 7 years ago. And I thought it was so interesting because it's true that in 2023, late 2022, we're still talking about KD going to Golden State.
In 2016.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, you know.
So just at this point, like, can we just put that whole thing to bed? Like, it happened and it's over.
Yes. And I agree.
Like,
I've made my peace with it already.
Why is Evan Turner like talking? Like, why is he upset about it? Why are people still upset about it? Do you think?
Evan Turner didn't even play on a championship level team throughout that period that Kevin Durant was
awful,
there.
Bro.
Yeah, and if he was, he wouldn't have been a consequential piece of that winning.
You're not wrong.
Not. I mean, so that's part of my thing. My other thing is that, just let this go. Like, everybody is in a different place now. It already happened. We can't go back and change it. And they lost. They ended up losing. Like, they didn't. I mean, whether or not he got hurt and without Clay, doesn't matter. At the end of that run, they lost.
Yeah.
Somebody beat them. Like, you know what I mean? And LeBron and them should have beat them. So, they were talking like, oh, everybody in the league just rolled over and let them win. And they just knew that it was going to be like, nah, man. These dudes, the year after they had the 73 wins, KD's first year, they really shouldn't even have made the finals. They should have been. That was the year with the Zaza Pachulia, right? When he fell, when Kawhi fell on his ankle.
I
think so. Weren't they down like 2-1 or something like that to San Antonio?
Think so.
I feel like that was the year. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to go back and check. But I know that there was a lot of teams that pushed them.
Yeah.
And it's not like everybody was just like, they won those things outright with KD. They played. It was beautiful basketball. As a fan, I loved it. I'm over it. I knew he wasn't coming to the Knicks.
I'm at peace with it as well. It is what it is. It happened. I was rooting against them. I'm a LeBron fan. I don't have a team, so I wanted LeBron to win. But it happened. And as much as I wanted LeBron to win, like I mentioned it last week, like I love great basketball. I love to see great play. So I can't be mad seeing Steph and Clay and KD on the same court. Like, it happened.
Bro, it adds to
it's
LeBron's
part of
legend
history.
Too. It adds to LeBron's legend.
Absolutely does.
When I think about LeBron, my son is 3 months old, 4 months old in a couple of days. When he grows up and I tell him about LeBron James, I'm gonna show him teams like that and be like, yo, all these dudes was nice. Like at one point, all these dudes, this entire lineup was all-star. And they all got together so that they could get past this dude. That's how bad he was. He was the man. Like I have grown beyond disrespecting LeBron. I just want to appreciate
that.
And whereas I want to appreciate this team. That era was crazy. The basketball was beautiful.
Yes.
Kevin Durant was so good that Stephen Curry was a sideshow.
Yep.
But still averaged 26, and it was just a beautiful time in basketball. I loved it.
I agree.
I loved it.
Let's just leave it like that. Back. Let's leave that dynasty in the past. The Warriors won last year without KD. Without what I'm saying. So
why are we still talking about this?
Let's move past it. And I vow this will be the last time we talk about Kevin Durant in this fashion. Talking about Kevin Durant on the Golden State Warriors because we can't do it anymore. People don't want to hear it anymore.
Shout out to KD. The Nets are they're the hottest team in the league right now.
Yeah, they're playing incredible.
Oh, Steve Nash, poor guy, never gonna get a job again.
It is what it is. He'll get. If he wants to coach, he'll get a job someplace.
Canadian basketball at best. Canadian national team. That's what he'll do. Assistant.
So real quick before we get out of here, we kind of touched on LeBron, and I don't know if you saw the quote from LeBron where basically he kind of alluded to that he's always been a winner in his career. So like the place where the Lakers is not something that he's accustomed to. It's not something that he enjoys. Um, do you think there's any chance that he leaves the Lakers? Not this year, but do you think he leaves the Lakers?
I think that there's a chance. I think it depends on how long he's trying to play. I We know that he wants one more championship, and I think if
Sure.
there is a place, if there's a place for him to go, and they can get him there, the Lakers. I think it would be even at this point in his career, 38 years old. That man is worth 3 to 4 first round picks. I don't care.
Yeah.
So the Lakers need if they need to regroup and start this thing over again. That's what they need to do. I would sooner trade Anthony Davis and try to get back some picks for to. You need to get back picks to make a trade for a player that's actually on the floor.
Yeah.
That's somebody we could talk about is who you can hold against them how much they're actually playing because it's hurting his team.
Yeah.
So that I do. Can he leave? Yes. Will he? I don't know. I think if the right thing comes up, then he'll ask Genie and those guys to move him, and they'll
So
have
again,
to
I
because they don't have anywhere to go.
so that's the thing. I don't think I truly don't think LeBron would ask for a trade. I mean, he's been
Yeah,
doing these 2-year deals, for the last 8 years, so that he can
yeah,
maximize how much he's getting paid in the whole nine, which
they
genius
control where
move.
he is in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
So
the Rich
yeah,
Paul.
yeah. So I don't think it's a situation where he's going to ask out. But I do feel like it's a well, twofold. One, I think he wants to play with Bronny. So he's leaving the door open so that when Bronny gets drafted in 2 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, he's a senior
He's a
this year.
senior this year. Yeah,
So he has to play
so
1 year in college.
he doesn't have to. That thing's up at the end of the season. You can go
Oh
to
my
19
gosh.
or
So then
18
maybe
again, so
next
he can
year.
go next year. Yeah,
So I know I
I
feel
think that is
like
not a coincidence, by the way, that the league did that.
oh I yeah.
But I don't know if he's
So
NBA level talent. But he probably who knows if he. We haven't
maybe
heard
not.
anything about Bronny's recruitment or anything like that. I don't know where he's even at prospect wise. I think it's likely that he'll go G League Ignite or something like that for a year before he goes to college.
Yeah, I don't know if he's NBA ready now. Like I don't think he's
Yeah.
coming into the league like a young LeBron was.
Mm-hmm.
But he's very good, man. And you
Yes.
know what I'm saying? Like very good. So whatever time frame that ends up being, a year, 2 years, 3 years, I think I talked to Sean about this, and Sean kind of thinks LeBron doesn't care if he's on the same team. I truly
Right.
believe that LeBron wants to play with his son for one season, and that's kind of how that's going to be like the grand finale. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I could definitely see him again, just depending on how things pan out. I could see LeBron, leaving and going and playing someplace else. Prior to playing with Bronny, however
Yeah.
that shakes out. But yeah, LeBron's not used to losing. I know the Laker fans, they appreciate the championship in 2020, but
Of course.
you know, it's only going to buy you a few years. Like Lakers fans, they expect championships. So
At
things
least
have
to
got to
be
change.
in them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They need to be in them or around them. The Lakers are missing the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
Play in.
Yeah.
So and this is with LeBron.